And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to another one of our Saturday night discussions. We have the very welcome return of an absolutely fabulous speaker tonight and very knowledgeable upon her subject. And tonight's subject is connecting with your guides and soul retrieval with the lovely Jill Schofield. Jill, what a great delight to be back in your company once more.
Thank you so much for inviting me back. I really enjoyed the last time, and hopefully tonight will be just as much. And I hope people get a lot from this evening. We're going to make it more experiential, so people can get in and actually, experience a little bit of something.
Brilliant. The last time you were on, this topic of soul retrieval did generate an awful lot of interest, and it actually spawned this evening's talk, so that's great. But when people can join in as well and be part of, that's an added bonus. Absolutely. So really looking forward to it. Quick hi to everybody joining us. Welcome. I'm hearing just a slight echo of my voice. Apologies if people out there are picking it up, but it's just one of those things in the electronic age. So, Jill, tell me, the soul retrieval and connecting with your guides. Break that down a bit. Connecting with your guides. Now, I was sat thinking the other day, which is quite a rarity for me. When you said about connecting with your guide, are we talking our spiritual guides, as in what spiritualism would denote, or are we going really into the shamanic energy of any power animals or anything like that coming forward?
Yeah, really. So it's whatever guide you're going to need to do the work you're going to do tonight. So, I mean, a lot of people, because they do all kinds of spiritual work, will already have guides. So they may actually connect to the guide they already work with. But because we are going to do something which is a little bit shamanic, don't be, for those people who've got guides, don't be surprised if you suddenly meet a different guide who's coming along to do more shamanic based work. So it might be your old guide and it might be a new guide.
Absolutely brilliant. I can't wait.
So the guide, you need the guide to kind of help you with the soul retrieval, which is why we're kind of doing both, because you can't do soul retrieval really without having a guide. So your guide comes with you because it's about retrieving that soul and also healing.
Brilliant.
So shall I tell you about what soul retrieval is and why we need to do it?
That'd be great.
Soul retrieval, it's a shamanic technique, because as people know, is we are just all based of energy. And what happens in our life is we have traumas, big traumas, little traumas, and a little part of ourself just kind of disappears. It kind of wanders away. And we've often heard people say, or we've said it ourselves, a little part of myself died there, or I've never been the same since that event. So there's been events in our lives, and some of them are quite large. And some of them are just small. Somebody says something to you and a part of you goes, oh, and a part of your soul just kind of disappears, your kind of energy system. So in that respect, your energy's kind of disappeared, but we're going to go and bring it back. So it's energy which is going to be quite useful for you. So what we do is we go and collect that energy back, we clean it, and we bring it back into our energy system. Because if we have a lot of soul loss in our lives, it can cause us to get listless and tired, because it's part of our energy system which keeps us going. So we kind of need the energy. So as our energy disappears, we can get depressed, anxious, listless, lethargic, because we just don't have the energy to keep going through our daily events. So we just simply go and collect that energy back, quite simply. So, but also it's a twofold, and it's also the reason why we need to have our guide. So as we go back and collect that energy and cleanse that energy, we take our guides along with us, and they heal that trauma as well. So it's twofold. The guide heals the trauma while we collect the energy.
How amazing. And that, I feel, on an energetic level, connects with, I've been, as I was saying before we went live, working with energies, but part of that has been working with the shadow self and embracing the whole of yourself and understanding it, thereby consolidating all your energies instead of having parts cut off. So when you were saying it, I'm like, that's great. That's great. I need that right now. So if anybody at home doesn't get anything out of this, I don't mind, because I really need this.
Yeah, I think most people can get some energy back. Generally, get some energy back, and it is because there's that. Ideally, if we're flowing well, we've got all our energy, we can have all our soul back, our energy's flowing, and we're aware of everything. And then we do have things which kind of siphon off our energy sometimes, or we block parts of our energy. So it's part of ensuring that energy is just flowing.
How wonderful. Absolutely. I really can't wait for this to get going. So without further ado, could I hand over to you now, Jill, to commence your evening, please?
Yep, thank you. Yes, so what we're going to do is we're going to make it an experiential evening tonight. So what I'll do is I'll play the drum for people, and you guys go off and do a journey. So I know you've had people come in already and talk to you about shamanic drums. So I don't know if you've actually had a shamanic drum session and actually been on journeys. You have. So
we have.
Laurie's nodding, so I'm assuming that some of you may have, some of you may not have. So this is my drum I'm going to play. The way I play the drum is I connect to the energy of a journey. So the drum, you'll notice when I'm playing it, it will get louder, it will get quieter, it will suddenly go faster, because the drum has got an energy of its own, and so the drum will connect to the energy which is needed for the journey to go on. It's not the same beat all the time. It's dependent on the need of the journey. So that's one point. So what you're going to do is I will play the drum, and you guys are going to go and meet a guide. So what we're going to do is we start with a guide first. So what you ought to think of, if you've got a sacred place, which some of you may have, or a safe place, call it whichever way you like. If you haven't, just imagine a place in nature. So what you're going to do is you're going to sit back, relax, imagine being in this place of nature, imagine being in your sacred place. And as you arrive there, there's going to be a path opening up, and you just walk down the path. And at the end of the path, there's going to be somebody who's going to help you with your work tonight. Now, that can be human. It can be an ancestor. It could be somebody you know in spirit. It could be an elemental. It could be a mermaid. It could be an animal. It could be all kinds of things. It could be a tree if you're very nature-based. It could be a plant. Your guide will present in the best way that your guide will do for you. The other thing is, especially if it's kind of going to be a shamanic guide. Now, guides are sometimes a little bit shy. Well, they're not shy. They just haven't got anything to say. So, for instance, with my healing guide, if I go and see my healing guide, unless I've got a question for him, he's just like, yeah. We're not going to sit and chat. They're often not chatty guides, because you go for a reason. You go to connect, to actually say, will you come with me this evening to do this soul retrieval journey? So you might get a yes out of them for that, but don't be surprised if they don't talk. Don't be surprised if you don't see all of them as well. So I've known people who have only seen the legs of their guides who they've been working with for years. A lot of guides present with masks over the face, because they're not yet ready to share how they fully look. So guides can be quite interesting in how they present. So if you turn up and you just see somebody's feet and they don't talk to you, that's fine, and that's normal, so don't worry about it. If you suddenly turn up and there's a horse there, again, that's fine, it's normal. It is whatever. Everybody's different, and everybody has the guide that they need. So your guide won't be the same as my guide. The way your guide presents won't be the same. Everybody's will be slightly different. Okay. So what you're going to do, I'll reiterate it. Sit back, relax, close your eyes, set your intention 3 times. We always set our intentions 3 times to go and meet our guide who's going to work with us this evening. So sit back, relax. I'm going to go and meet my guide who I'm going to work with this evening. I'm going to go and work with my guide I'm going to work with this evening. And you say it 3 times. You don't have to say it out loud. So if you just have a go at that. So I will play the drum. You go and connect to your drum. I'll play for a little while. Just have a chat with them. If they're chatty, they may not be. Just connect with them. I'll play for a little while. I can't see anybody. So what I'll do is when it's starting to have time, I will call people back. Laurie, with your experience, do people prefer a guided approach, or are people better off just telling them what to do and go and do it?
I think probably the guided approach. That removes doubt from people's mind, because if you leave them to go and do whatever, they think, "Oh, should I be doing this or should I be doing that?" So a guided approach probably just unifies that energy, I think.
Okay, I can do that. That's fine. Okay, so any questions before we jump into the going to meet a guide? I'm not seeing any popping up, so I'm assuming everyone's sitting back and relaxing.
They're all experienced. That's wonderful.
You can hear the drum. So I'll play the drum 6 times quite slowly as you're sitting back and you're setting your intention, and we're asking spirits to come and help, and then I'll get faster, and then I'll do 2 big ones at the end. Okay, so sit back, relax, take some nice deep breaths. Set your intention 3 times to go and meet a guide who can work with you this evening. When you've set your intention, just imagine a place in nature or your sacred place, and just relax in there and just take notice of the place. What does it look like? What does it sound like? Who's around there? Just get to know your sacred place. When you're ready, just notice a path. There's a path ahead of you. Just start following the path. Just notice what the path is made of. Is it sand? Is it stone? Just wander down. Smell the weather. Until you come to a clearing at the end, and in the clearing there's somebody for you to connect with, for you to talk to. Just have a chat. take another few moments just to say thank you to whoever you're talking to. See if they've got a gift for you. And then start wandering back down the path, back to your place in nature. And when you're ready, just open your eyes and come back into the room. Okay, just start heading back into the room. So I'm really curious on whether people managed to connect to guides, or if any surprises, any guides they thought they was going to meet and met anybody totally different. If that worked on this platform.
I'm sure it did. I know I did. I had a very interesting experience.
Mm-hmm.
I met Pan.
Oh wow!
I
Great.
don't know why. There's nothing there in my mind to promote that image, but just Pan stepped forward. I thought, oh hello, as you do.
It's what I love about shamanism is you just kind of go and you meet these fabulous, mythical creatures, and it's fabulous. Because you can't even think who you're going to meet.
No, and that was totally random. And my knowledge of Pan is like, I think when I was probably about 8, and it was part of a lesson, and that was it.
Wow.
So
obviously Pan's wanting to connect to you.
Okay. Looking at the comments coming in, absolutely great success.
Good.
One comment there saying a bit short, but that's fine because this is only a taster session. This is just a touching on those energies. If you're already adept at doing these sort of things, these exercises, yeah, you might find it a bit short, but an awful lot of people aren't. So when you sort of like do these little light introductions, it's ideal time. So yeah.
Yeah, and that was just to meet your guides, because the next one's going to be a much longer journey. But looking at it, people have met some really good, looking at the comments.
Yeah.
Someone's met a zebra, a large brown bear led along the path. Wow.
There's a lot of bears out there.
And some dancing. Yay.
Yay.
I always like dancing.
Yeah, dancing's good energy.
And for those of you who didn't see anything, not everybody does. Don't feel that you didn't manage very well because you didn't see anything. A lot of people don't. A lot of people get a sense of something rather than actually see something, if that makes sense. So you kind of have a knowing that somebody's there if you don't necessarily see them.
Very true. I've never seen my main guide. I know he's there and I know about him, but I've never seen him. I know all my other guides, but my main guide is always working there. I never see him.
Yeah. It is funny the kind of relationship you have, guys. I have a guide, and the first time he came, he's just stood there, and I'm like, "Hello," just was not talking at all. Yeah, I'm loving the comments. There's some really wow.
Oh, I love that.
Lots of animals around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, somebody even got a gift. It's fabulous. So the whole point of that is, for one, is for you to meet guides. So you might already have guides, and you might have met a different guide. And if you've met a different one, the thing is, you now know, if you haven't done it before, you now know how to journey. So, for instance, like you, Laura, you can go and you can go and journey again and meet up with Pan at another time. So once you've connected, to the people that you've connected with, then they're always there. Now you can go and talk to them at any point.
Definitely. And I couldn't go too deep because I'm just keeping an eye on the proceedings as well. And I was sort of like, hi, I can't stop and talk. So later on tonight on Rewind, I can go, oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so you can always pop back and see them again later.
Yes.
It's really good. Isn't the drum amazing at raising vibrations? It really is. It is. It's absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, I've got to agree. And I'll hand on heart, when we first started investigating some of the drumming sessions here in Poole, I was a bit skeptical. We did do a night, we had a gong bath followed by a drumming session, and I just found those so polar opposites. It was just like, oh, I can't handle this. But once you actually get into it, once you allow yourself to immerse in it, you can either stand there on the sidelines going, no, 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 and it's not going to work.
No.
If you actually immerse yourself in it, you go, actually, yeah, I'm getting something.
Yeah, we did wonder when we first, of course, had to go into working in these ways, whether the drum would work. But luckily, I think we've managed to do some settings on the computer so that it does allow it to work a little bit, which is great.
Yeah, definitely.
Fab. So it looks like that's worked. We all have, well, hopefully, at least some of you have got guides. So hopefully you've got guides to help you on this next part. So now we're going to do the main event, if you like, and I will play for longer on this next part because it is a much, much longer journey. So I will go through this for you a few times. So what we're going to do, so I talked last time I came, and for those who wasn't here, I talked about the shamanic cosmos. So the shamanic cosmos is you have the higher world, the middle world, and the lower world. Rule of thumb, you go to the higher world for learning, you go to the lower world for healing. The lower world is full of healing pools. It's an absolutely beautiful place. It really is a place of healing. There's lots of spirit animals down there. And what's important for us this evening is our timeline is down there. So our journey tonight is actually going to take us down to the lower world. Please don't worry about it, because I know I've met some people who are kind of like, oh, I'm not going to that lower world because, it's lower and all those connotations. It's a very different place. It is a pure place of love. Thank you. I really love that painting, Holly. It is a really place of healing and nourishment and love. And it's also a place where we find our timeline. So I'll tell you what we're going to do, and I'll go through it a couple of times. We're going to go to that sacred place we went to, that place in nature. I'll play the drum. You're going to set your intention 3 times to go and collect a part of your soul which has disappeared. Okay. Well, then when you've done it 3 times, you find a way to go down to the lower world. I will talk people through it as we're doing it. And you go through the lower world, and you try and find your timeline. Now, your timeline is generally, it's not straight, because I don't think there's many people's timeline is very straight. So you look for a thing which kind of goes like that a little bit. So it could be a stream, it could be a path, it could be a rope bridge I've seen, but it kind of goes along the lines like that. So we're going to go down the timeline to the time of the trauma. And what's really important is we do not need to see the trauma. Okay? What we do is we look for our little part of soul, and that is often, it doesn't necessarily look like a smaller version or a younger version of us. It can be more symbolic. So it could be an egg, a butterfly, a stone. It could be a whole variety of things, because it's more symbolic than actual. So what you're going to do is you're going to find that piece of soul, and you're going to take that piece of soul. And as you take that soul, you ask your guide who you've just met, and the reason why it's come, if they will actually heal that original trauma. Remember, you don't have to see the trauma. You just go along to the timeline to that time. You pick up the soul, and your guide will heal the trauma. So that trauma gets healed. You then take that piece of soul and you take it to one of the many healing pools in the lower world, and you just give it a nice wash and you just cleanse it. You cleanse off any negativity, you cleanse off any of the fear that which disappeared with it when it disappeared. Cleanse it, especially if it was young and childhood illnesses. You cleanse off any childhood illnesses because you don't want to bring them back with you. And you give it a nice cleanse. Once it's nice and clean, and you can sit in the healing pool with yourself as well, and have a little bit of healing while you're there. And then what you do is you just either there's two ways. You can imagine it into a little drink and you just drink it in, or you can put it in your hand and you just breathe it into your heart. Yeah, so that's two ways to actually take it in. So that's what we're going to do. Now, just go for one or two very tiny traumas. Do not try and do a big trauma the first time you've done this. You really want looking at those little traumas. If you don't know what they are, ask the guide to direct you to the place. And like I say, do not see the trauma. Get the guide to sort it. He'll heal it, and then you head back. And the important thing is to heal the energy, to heal that part of soul. Yeah? All make sense?
It does. So it's find, heal, cleanse, retake.
That's the one. Yep. Because it is quite a long one, I will drum for quite a long time, and I will talk people through it again. So as I'm doing it, I'll leave space in between my comments, and sorry if it distracts people, to allow you to have some time to do this. Like I say, this will take some time. Remember, not everybody sees things, but you might get a sense of things. So you might get a sense of the way down, a sense of where your timeline is, and a sense of whereabouts it is to stop. Yeah. Don't worry if your energy is not ready to come back at this point. It may not be. There might be things in your life, but you can ask your guide if there's anything you need to do in your life for it to come back. Okay, so it might be that your guide's going, no, I'm not coming back. Well, you're in that relationship, or you're eating, all the food which isn't healthy for me, or whatever it is, whatever your bit of soul might say. But generally, they tend to come back. So the important thing is the healing. So Holly mentioned my painting behind me. On here, you may notice just here, there's a polar bear. Now, when I do soul retrieval for a client, and often if there's a little one, I'll do a few bits of soul retrieval at the same time. And the little polar bear usually comes with me, and then little souls I'm picking up sit on the back of polar bear. So polar bear is one of my power animals in the picture, who actually often does soul retrieval for me. Any questions?
I'm very happy with that.
Cool. So I'll talk you through again. So sit back, relax, set your intention 3 times to go and pick up a couple of small pieces of soul which have gone. Just start small. Find a way down to go to the lower world. Could be a little hole at the bottom of a tree. It could be a little path. It could be a stream. Whichever way it is. So head. Go way down, look for your timeline, along the timeline, find the piece of soul, guide heals it, you take the guide heals the trauma, you take the soul, cleanse it, take it in. Okay? Glad you like the drum, Colin. So, sit back and enjoy the journey. So just sit back and set your intention 3 times to go and collect some parts of soul which has disappeared. When you're ready, just find a way to go down to the lower world. that beautiful place of healing. When you're down in the lower world, it's feeling that beautiful healing energy. Just have a look round until you find your timeline. That raggedy little lane you're going to wander down. Remember, you've got your guide with you to help you on this journey. So do talk to your guide. Get your guide to guide you down your timeline to a place where there is a small trauma. Remember, you don't need to see it. It's done, it's past. Just look around for that little bit of soul and get your guide to heal that whatever that trauma was. Soul might be hidden, you might need to dig for it. It might be hidden under leaves. Just dig it up. Remember when you found it to give it a nice cleanse and a nice healing pool. Sit in a nice healing pool with that bit of energy, welcoming it back into your energy. just collect that last bit of soul, heal that last trauma, so that you've got time to go and spend some time in the healing pool. Remember to get the little part of soul and to either turn it into a drink and drink it up, or to breathe it into your heart chakra. Just have a quick chat with your guides. What can you take from this? What's positive that you can take from the journey you've just done? What is the learning? The positivity? Just have a brief chat. And when you finish your chat, just head back into the room. By your sacred place. saying thank you to you guys and start heading back. Yeah, and I'm just going to go back to your sacred place and open your eyes.
That was great.
Was it? Did you enjoy
I
that?
loved that. I absolutely loved that. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all that effort to bring that to us tonight. Absolutely beautiful. Just let people recover slightly. There is a little bit of a time lag between us talking and people's comments coming up there, so don't feel like people are not doing anything. It's just
No, I think it often takes a moment to come back from a journey and to be back into this world.
yeah.
So have you done soul retrieval before at all?
I have never done it. I am not versed at all with the technique or the understanding, but it does. I was there. I did carry out exactly what we were doing tonight. Without too much depth or detail, the actual cleansing was quite interesting because it took ages to clean. You know, if you just wash mud off of something, it goes, but it just carried on. And I was cleaning it for ages, thinking, "Oh, for goodness sake!" But that made sense.
Yeah. So some things really need a good clean before you can take them back in.
Oh God, yeah, this could have done with 2 ball washes and a spin dry, but
yeah. So I kind of came to a stop around today because I thought it was time enough to do the journey, but also time for any questions following it, because it can be quite powerful, but it also can leave people with questions about what to do.
yeah. And by all means, everybody, if you have got any questions, please pop them into the comments box there.
And because the thing to remember is, when you brought this piece of soul back, which left for a reason, is to reintegrate it. So to talk to that part of soul for the next couple of weeks, just to bring it back into your energy system now.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. Wonderful. People are coming back. All very complimentary. That's a nice comment. And I get this, a really new experience. And for me also, it was totally new and loved it because I was there.
Mm.
You know, we sometimes get things and you sit there going, really? But yeah.
And I think, if you go somewhere like the low world and you can connect and see, or see or sense or kind of know these things, actually it's like you visit a whole new world, because it's like we've done quite a lot tonight, because we've been to meet guides. You've also been to the lower world sometime, some people maybe for the first time ever, and also gone to your timeline and collected parts of soul. There's quite a lot. It's really good. It's energizing, joy. It's bringing your energy back to you, which would have gone up at some point. Yeah.
Definitely. So don't forget, people, if you've got any questions at all regarding this evening, please just pop them into the comments box there. Jill is an absolute font of knowledge on this subject, and only too happy to share that with you.
Oh,
there we go. Yes.
Okay. Was that before or after you brought the soul back, Mary?
Assuming it was after, because I came back a bit quickly, so I would have come back after I'd achieved the goal. But we'll just wait and see for a comment to come up there.
Oh, that's good, Jamie. That your comments, that your guide's comments made sense.
Yes. Ah, there we go. Response from Mary. So after.
No. Right. Maybe you was releasing. Maybe tonight, Sam, you needed to release. So we can go and collect our soul back, but actually sometimes we need to release things which are no longer useful to us. So maybe before you can collect the soul back, you need to let go of stuff first, so that you're ready then to bring it in. So I would say that as kind of a positive of letting go. I don't know if that's what that feels like for you. After,
Lovely.
yeah. Mary, after. So what I would say, Mary, is just imagine, and I'm going to imagine it at the same time, it's just a shower washing off. So if for some reason the soul came back with not fully cleansed, what I want you to do is just imagine an energy shower just washing over you. And I'm going to sit back for a moment and just imagine that as well. So therefore, if the soul wasn't fully cleansed, we're just giving it a nice, good cleansing so that it can kind of let go. Yeah.
Mm.
Really glad you like my drum. It's a very special drum.
Yes.
I do like it.
Yes.
Okay.
It is amazing. The drum connection really does, excuse the pun, resonate with people very much so.
Sorry, my dogs have just decided to wake up.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Hopefully, Mo, we've just washed it off and enabling it to. Yeah, you had 2 pieces, which needed to come back. Yeah, that's fine. 2 pieces is fine. We've just the main thing is that they're cleansed and that you can reintegrate them. Cleansing is really important because people have found when they've gone and collected energy from when there was a child, that they've come back sometimes with illnesses they had when there was a child. So it's making sure that we cleanse it really well so that we don't bring back some of that energy with us. But hey, we've just hopefully you've just done an energy shower. I've just done an energy shower over you as well. So hopefully that will help wash that off. My pleasure, Susan.
I found that it really interesting when you said about the shower, because where I got so annoyed I couldn't get this clean, I went and stood under a waterfall and that fixed it. That really got rid of it. And I had such long hair. So much hair. Oh goodness me. As you can see, this is long for me, but I had all this hair and I was like, oh for goodness sake.
Oh, yeah, it's quite interesting to see what we used to look like in those days.
God. I vaguely remember me with hair until tonight, and I was like, oh, hello. Who's back? The hippie.
You didn't bring the hair back, though.
No, I don't know. I can't be doing with that.
I'm not aware of the drum having a name. She's quite powerful. She's quite a biggish drum, really. She's not that small drum. She's I birthed this drum, so she has a part of me in her. But actually, it's a really good question. She's never told me a name. There's lots of when you really look at the face of it. There's so much in the drum, so many people and faces, which unfortunately this just doesn't do justice to be able to see them.
Yeah.
So it's quite a collective. No, it's a good question though. I'm going to journey with my drum later and ask her if she's got a name.
Let's see what you've done, Carl.
You taught me how to use the drum. Well, when I did the shamanic course, the person who was teaching me shamanic healing, you had a drum, and then I got a drum, and basically the drum teaches you how to play. So I always play slowly to start with, because that's about bringing the energies in, bringing the spirits in, ready to work, and then the drum connects to the energy of whatever journey I'm actually playing for, and so it does its own thing. So I don't actually play it. It kind of gets me to do what it needs for it to do the journey that it needs, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, I would say just grab a drum, just connect to the drum and just play it and just see what you make, what music you make, and you can't go wrong.
Brilliant.
I have actually just had a paper published about just to say anything about playing the shamanic drum, and how actually playing the shamanic drum it's not about a set beat, it's about connecting to the energy of the drum and just going with it and playing with it and seeing what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to chanting as well, and all, that's not a tune, it's the energy and the
Yeah.
way it's expressing itself. Interesting comment here from Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the asthma was trying to leave you again. Oh, maybe the asthma was trying to leave you. I
Yeah.
wonder. That's a really interesting comment, because I'm really curious about that now. Because I am wondering if the asthma was there for a reason, and it is time for it to go again. It came back for a reason. Its time is up. So, is it possible to release it and let it go?
Very interesting. Keep us up to date, Mary.
Definitely. Ah, good. Cynthia felt it going back in. That's really good. You felt the power and the upliftment.
Yeah.
Did. It is
See,
quite powerful if you imagine throughout your life, you're constantly losing these bits of soul. So you can imagine the older you get, the more you can see why as we get older we're a little bit tired and when our bodies don't work quite so well. Well, actually, if you go back and collect all that soul back, you've got a lot more energy than we naturally have as we get older, because we lose our energy anyway. Go and collect it back, and it'll give you an uplift, and because it's energy which is yours, so have it back.
now that is really interesting, because only one part of puzzlement on my little journey there was there seemed to be lots of things, but the guide was saying not that one. But all down the pathway, I was aware there were just little objects, and it's like, no, not that one, not that one, and it was strewn with it. So you've just explained why
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why why you take your guide as well, because this is the first time for a lot of people. So you always kind of go. I always believe in starting easy. So what I would say is, go and because you can always go back now. You know how to do it. Go back, collect those bigger pieces of soul. But if you have got some serious traumas in your life, you can do this. But it's also worth talking to a shamanic practitioner, especially if they've got a psychotherapy history as well, because there might be some integration of that soul when it's come back, which it needs a little bit more psychological. I kind of like, as you know, I like the psychology because I'm a psychotherapist as well as a shamanic practitioner. So I think we can go and do a lot of our stuff ourselves, and I'm a big believer in people doing these things themselves, going and collecting them souls, clearing it. But sometimes if it's a big trauma, then I think some psychological assistance on how to reintegrate that back can be quite useful as well. So don't go and do big traumas, but go and collect all those little traumas and medium-sized traumas.
Yeah, very, very sound advice. Anything spiritual, don't jump in at the deep end going, oh, right, tonight I'm going to be a physical medium, and then wonder why all the electrics have gone off, or your house just caught fire. So yeah, start off little and get used to it and develop your style and your relationship with those who work with you, and never forget, if they change, that's fine. There's a reason. There's always a reason.
Yeah, and we're all a little bit different and have different needs. So wherever you're going, doing your journey into the traumas that you need to collect, it's all kind of individualized. Mark just said he found a pair of glasses from his childhood. How cute is that? Colin, yes, sometimes the voice is used in shamanic practice. What I didn't do then, but I will often when I'm playing the drum, I'll hum alongside it. So I often hum along that. So that's with the drum. I have been known to hum. So a lot of people will sing and chant. I have done a lot of chanting, especially when I'm clearing land. Land seems to like to chant, so I tend to often do a lot of chanting to make energy shift around and heal that. So yeah, the voice is definitely used in modern shamanic practice.
Absolutely brilliant. Jill, you have squeezed so much into an hour. It's absolutely wonderful. I know by the figures of people watching, they were held. Nobody, even on here, people channel hop. So rude. But they didn't tonight. So, yeah, you really held the room. Absolutely beautiful. People, if you've just jumped in and wondering what's going on, it's been a really interesting evening. I would advise you to watch it all on catch up and allow yourself the full hour to watch it, because there are exercises within tonight's program that you can do. And don't forget, everybody in the room tonight as well. If you need a little reminder, or you just think, oh, I want to dip back into that, how did it go again? Yeah, get it on catch up, either on the church Facebook page or the YouTube channel. Always there, always there. Jill, I would give a great big hug, because you're just,
Literal hug.
yeah, virtual. I don't count, does it? We're all getting a bit fed up with virtual hugs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if we get soon, we'll be able to get out there and hug properly as
I
well.
know. Look out.
Mhm.
Running around like that.
Mhm.
Absolutely beautiful evening. Really informative. Really interesting. I absolutely, this, all the spirituality is starting to come in and be encompassed by these nights now is just incredible, because there's something for everybody there. I know, looking at comments coming in. There we go. The lovely Jamie, who's got a very strong medical background as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. From a cycle, it's that reintegration. I think is so important. We can take bits of soul back really simply, but when we've had sort of larger traumas, there's that a little bit more of that. That integration is important.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it again. I've really, I've had a really good time. It's been wonderful and such lovely comments. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
No, the pleasure is all ours. Actually, I do, because I've been not working, I've been in communication with a charity today that deals with PTSD and ex-service people.
Oh
I
yeah.
am thinking, ooh, that's interesting. There's an interesting link.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, lots of not only personal development, but lots of potential in that. I'm not going to try and do that as a complete
Yeah.
novice, but it's just sparked that thought that come a time we could investigate that a little bit further.
Well, if you want to talk that over, or if there's anything I could do to help, because I mean, a part of my psychotherapeutic practice, I do a lot of trauma, and I do trauma. I work from it from a variety of ways to help. So there's the kind of healing and processing the trauma, and I work with a charity which does works with ex-service people, as well as the shamanic. I think they dovetail so well. Process the trauma, bring back the energy. It's healing in such a deep way.
Yeah, I've found that on my visits to this charity that a lot of the guys and ladies as well have got a much more open, receptive view to things. Probably much more so than you would find in the same mix of people from mainstream society. They are actually sort of like interested and not poo-pooing the idea. So, ooh.
Yeah.
Oh God,
I mean,
don't start
it's
me off on
definitely
another path.
interesting work. Yeah, it's definitely interesting work, that is, for sure. Mhm.
Please don't start me off another path. I've got so many paths at the moment. Yeah, there's a little comment there from Bob, just saying he'd like to talk to Jill, but he's not in a good place at the moment. That's fine. That's good, Bob. That's
Yeah,
really
that's
good.
fine.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll go on Facebook and I'll kind of say hello, so that you can link up, and you can always connect with me there if you like. Or Laurie can share my details with him.
Yeah, do that quite happily. And really good, Bob, that you recognise you're not in a good place. That's
Mhm.
good in my book.
Yeah.
Very good.
Because there might be some work to do to kind of sometimes people need to do almost what we call a power retrieval, so and build up our own strength, so when we're strong, then we can bring back the soul. but the soul might not be ready to come back because you need to be in a stronger place. So if you can look at sort of power retrieval is a really good one, because you've got the strength, and then the soul can come back. So
Well,
there's other techniques you can do to kind of work these things through as well.
that sounds like another Saturday night, a power retrieval.
That's an interesting one. Yeah. No, I can always come back and do some more things. I'm quite open to working with you.
Please don't say that to me. I'll be messaging you all night. Brilliant. Jill, let you go. Let your woofers go. Bless them. It was quite funny because people were talking about their spirit animals, and we could keep hearing us. And I'm thinking, that is not your spirit animal, people. All right, that is a dog. It's a real dog. Don't panic.
It's my dog's in the background.
Yeah, bless them. Oh, lovely. Jill, you've been an absolute delight as always. You know, one day you really must, if you can come down to Poole, or if I'm up in that area, whatever. But I would really just love to be with you and actually really in your energy as well, because I'm sure that'd be really interesting. Thank you.
It would really be interesting, that. Yeah, definitely. Great. Yeah. Thank you. Take care, everybody. Thank you for having me, and I hope you all have a lovely evening.
Yeah, thank you, Jill. For those watching, next Saturday night we have something a little bit similar, but not of the same vein. We have a neo-shaman on with us. There's a gentleman from Liverpool, Lewis Powell, who will be talking about his journey, quite a fascinating journey as well, lots of ups and downs, but he really has created something beautiful out of a past. And hats off. I admire that in people. So that's next Saturday night, 7 o'clock live again, same time, same place. God bless everybody. Look after yourselves. Don't forget, you can revisit this evening if you wish to on the videos tab on the church Facebook page, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the channel ID is PCSC. And then you can just dip back into all our all our previous events at any time you wish. Good night, everybody. Stay safe, stay sane, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Good night, all.